So hi everyone, my name is Rosalind. I'm a Peranakan Chinese from Singapore. My dad is Hokkien and my mom is Peranakan. And until I'm 7 years old, we lived together with our maternal grandmother. I remembered vividly that living with her, that times we have good times as well as frightening times. As young girls, my sisters and I, we used to play in the veranda. But after dark, when we have to go back to our room, we have to pass the middle hall, they called it. And the middle hall, there were three big deity, Chinese deity. And they are human size, very humongous when we were young. It looked so terrible and dark. So my sisters and I, we used to crawl and walk as far and crawl as fast as we can back to the kitchen, to the bedroom and the kitchen area. The middle one I remember is a big Buddha statue, and the one on the right is a big statue, and it's dark black in color, of a man carrying a sword and with flags behind his back. And then the other one, I'm not sure, if I'm not wrong, is a Kuan Im, but it's a black one as well. So it's the whole hall looks so dark and very frightening when we were young. And until now, whenever my sisters and I talk, we talk about how it is so frightening living there. And at the same time, we used to have good fun living there with our cousins who lived in one of the 3 rooms that my grandfather, in the early 1940s, used to use it as his room where he does his black magic. You see, my grandfather's name is Professor Lee Bachit. He died in the early 1941, after my eldest brother's birth. We know that he was a very helpful man, but again, dealing with black magic, I do not know what you call it. But through his black magic, he helped a lot of people. And I specifically remember he helping those escorts from getting clients. Like he'll do the, I do not know what, the yellow cloth where you put the red stamp on it, and he asked them he'll say some prayers with it, and then he will ask them to burn it and drink it. And in that way, they can get clients for themselves, which is, I think now, being a Catholic, that is not right. But those days, being a Taoist and a young girl, you think it's just a way of life, you see. And so my grandfather used to keep a skull in one downstairs.
What did you use the name for it?
Tengkorak, they call it. That means a human skull. And he used to feed it with chicken blood, the blood from the chicken. So every night he will feed this skull with some, and it's a very dark room. It's completely dark. And but later on, another family, after my grandfather passed away, another family lived there inside that room, and it's a Malay couple. And they had some experiences as well after that, because I remember this auntie that we called, she says that she used to see the kerosene lamp moving about. And another instance also, one of her parrots passed away. The parrot was fine, but next morning, or in the middle of the night, they heard this little bird screaming like for help and all that, and next morning found that bird dead. And I think it's also due to these spirits. And I remembered this room is just next to our kitchen in Pasir Panjang where we live. And the kitchen is a very big kitchen, but it's very dark. So, and next to the kitchen is the toilet. So when Mom wants to ease herself at night, Mom used to go downstairs from our house upstairs, and she used to tell me that whenever she passed that room, she will see a lady standing at the foot of the big clay pot where they put water in, and a lady without any legs, only the body of the lady, smiling at her. That's what my mom used to tell me. We used to have guava tree called the jambu aye, the bell guava, and this is near the front of our house. By 9 o'clock, we are not supposed to be at the veranda. We have to be asleep and my uncle used to tell us that don't anybody stand near the veranda because around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, it's not nice to be there. He did not tell us why. But one day, we found him sleeping there and a bare body, and he was showing us scratch marks, the back of his body. And he says, now you know why I didn't want you people to be at the veranda at night, because there's one woman that's always at the tree, at this jambu tree in the middle of the night. And he used to take the water to throw water at a woman so that she will fly off.
So you see this woman every night?
Many nights, yes.
Many nights,
Exactly. Yes. We call it the kakak. And there are trees around our house, big trees and all that. There are times when I remember my mom saying that she used to see one man climbing the tree or standing in the tree facing our bedroom. And ever since then, whenever I pass that window, I will always crawl down or stood down so that I do not have to see the tree. Yes. So
this
that's in Pasir Panjang, Jalan Bangau. Yes, it's now I think a warehouse or something like that. My dad used to say that my grandfather was born with the spirit of a white crocodile, and he was saying that. And my dad says that before Grandpa passed away, they saw a white crocodile coming up from the sea behind our house, because our house is just behind the sea. And the crocodile will come out and be seen there, and then he went in, and that was the night my grandfather passed away. He's quite well known. He has also been to the jungles in Malaysia, and where he gets all this tangkal. He did get one talisman for my father, which my father used until he became a Catholic in the 80s. And that's when he disposed of and get rid of it. And that talisman, my grandfather used to tell my dad, never take it out. It was given to him by one of the bomos or something like that in the Malaysian jungle. And it's from the white tiger or some tiger skin. And it's got some very powerful and will protect my dad from any harm. So that's what happened. So Grandpa used to have it with him until he became a Catholic, when we decided that this is not for us, and we leave everything in God's hand, in Jesus' hand.
Did he give the amulet away? Or?
If I'm not wrong, no. I think he burnt it. He burnt it, and the ashes were just thrown into the sea. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can you recall much of the stuff that great-grandpa did, like how he used to call the spirit into his body, and also about the sun?
Oh yes, now that you mention it, yes, my grandfather can stare into the sun for hours. I do not know what they called it. There's a name for it, where the person can stare into the sun for hours, at least 12 hours or so, without moving. And Grandpa was known for that. That's why he was given the name Professor, because this is one of the things that he did.
So one of his accomplishments?
Yes, accomplishment, yes. My mom gave birth to me at home in Pasir Panjang. And prior to that, Dad has a dream that I will be born the next day. And true enough, that night they heard the roar of a tiger, a white tiger. So they believe that I'm a spirit of a white tiger, because I was born in the year of the tiger, and this is what they believe. When he passed away, he passed some of his knowledge actually to his nephew, who he adopted as his son, his own nephew. And this uncle did a lot of my granddad's work. But at the same time, he also gave my mom some of the things that he learned from this occult, I should say. And mom was practicing that for a while, even after we left Pasir Panjang to our new home. And she was practicing that, and we young girls, our sisters, we have to help mom by doing the paperwork where you got to stamp the, the red thing onto the white yellow paper and all that and cut it off. And then mom used to give it and say some prayers and give it to my auntie, who's like a carrier or somebody who would help and give it to some of the call girls, escorts and call girls, and help them. But after some times, my dad put a stop to it and says, okay, enough is enough. I do not want you to practice this kind of thing. And mom gave it up. And also she became a Catholic in 1980 before she passed away. My eldest brother was born with a veil. And my eldest brother has got this ability to see things that we can't see. And yes, unfortunately, he has got the gift. My brother was a bit naughty, and he used to use the Ouija board, and we used to play with it, not knowing that it's so hideous as all that. And after that, not good things happened in the home. My brother used to see a lot of things at night, unfortunately, and it's quite a difficult thing for him to do because he was in the army and he used to see things whenever he goes anywhere and nobody believes him. When my grandmother passed away, and we had the Chinese altar in the house for 100 days after my grandmother passed away, and he used to see things that's not so nice. Once he saw my grandmother sitting there looking at us, and then in the coffin as well. Once when we were praying near the coffin, you could see my grandmother's leg underneath the coffin. Yes. The Ouija board is not a good thing, so I advise people don't touch it at all. Don't even try, because it brings a lot of unhappiness to the person who is doing it.